Hello again, everyone, and welcome back. This video is about my plan, all about my plan to get a woman elected President of the United States. And I think it's a pretty good plan, so stick with me on this. Um, a lot of women are really upset that America has not yet had a female president. And they say it's about time. And, I agree. Why not? Um, that last glass ceiling has not yet been shattered. Hillary tried it in 2016 and didn't make it. Uh, it's not that women haven't tried. This time around we had 6 women running in the Democrat primary. We had 4 United States senators, 1 representative, and a lady author of self-help books or something like that. But they all dropped out. Except for the representative from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard. She's still in there fighting, and for some strange reason, she's getting 0 recognition from the media. They've just frozen her out. She can't even buy a minute on the mainstream media, and I don't know why. She'd probably make a pretty good president, but they're not having anything to do with her. In the last election, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. I think she got a couple, 3 more million votes than Donald Trump, but she ran up against the Electoral College, and that was the name of that tune. So she was out. Women have been running for president since like forever. I think the first one to run was Victoria Woodhull back in 1872. And of course, she didn't do any good. And since then, a lot of women have tried, and they've all failed. So, why? Well, after Elizabeth Warren crashed and burned a few days ago, Nancy Pelosi came out, and she was pretty hot under the collar, like she always is. She's always mad about something. And she said it was all because of misogyny. Okay, maybe so. I guess it depends on who you ask, if it's misogyny or not. But seems to me, with the possible exception of Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii, all the women that are running are part of the Me Too group, that Me Too organization, especially like Elizabeth Warren. She's really out there. For example, she was just bashing the hell out of poor Bernie Sanders for saying something he never said. She accused him of saying that a woman could never be elected president. Well, Bernie Sanders is a socialist. He would never say anything like that. I'm a conservative, and I'm saying, well, why not? But Bernie Sanders would never say. But she kept bashing him over the head. And this didn't play well with men, because every man, me included, but every man at one time or another has been accused by a woman of saying something he did not say. That's just the way it is. And when Warren came out and started hitting poor Bernie over the head, the men go, yeah, okay, we've heard that before. And her poll numbers just dropped, just like down below 10%, and she had to drop out. So, there you go. That's a perfect example. So, if you want to call it misogyny, I guess. I don't know. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do here is get a woman elected president. So let's just push that all off on one side for the moment, and let's concentrate on the task at hand. Like I said, at 4 female United States senators running for the Democrat nomination. And you've got Klobuchar from Minnesota, you've got Gillibrand from New York, you got Harris from California, and then you had Warren from Massachusetts, and of course Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii. Now, these all, they won their elections, their statewide elections, or in Tulsi Gabbard, she won a district, because men voted for them. They couldn't have been there without men. So why can't they get a national vote? Why doesn't that translate into a national men voting nationwide for a woman? It could be misogyny, I guess, misogyny on the national level, and we can go with that if you want to, but how do you solve that problem? Because guys like me, we're not going to punch a card or pull a lever for a Me Too woman. It's just not going to happen. Not in a million years. So let's just take a step back and look at this uh, and see where we're really at here. In the modern era, the president of the United States really doesn't have much power. Um, you know, basically, for all intents and purposes, the president of the United States, it's more of a ceremonial position now than anything else. I mean, the moment the president tries to do something, he either gets slapped down by Congress or by a federal court or something. Something happens. Some of these special interest groups rise up and stop whatever the president is trying to do. I mean, look what happened to Donald Trump. You know, he comes into Washington, you know, hollering about he's going to drain the swamp, and what happened? They impeached his ass. So, I mean, they wanted to get him out of there before he ever got in. So that's what I mean by a ceremonial president. I mean, Barack Obama, he couldn't do much. Now, he's a good guy, and he was in there doing his best, but he didn't do much, and frankly, he probably didn't want to. He just, okay, I'm president of the United States. This is pretty cool. He puts his feet up on the desk and drinks a glass of wine, which is what I'd do, you know? If you don't want to let me do anything, fine, you know? So like I say, no matter who gets elected president, nothing's going to change. It's just going to be business as usual. You know, you got the deep state calling the shots anyway. So it's like Vladimir Putin said. You know, he said, we really don't care who's president of the United States because the president of the United States has no real power. Putin said the people with the real power in Washington, D.C. are the guys in the black suits. That's the deep state. So take that for what it's worth. So that's what I'm saying. If a woman does become president, in the words of Hillary Clinton, what difference does it make? Not a lot. So, you know, it's easy to be cynical about Washington, D.C., about the federal government, because they almost demand it of us. You know, they just don't do anything. And when they do something, it's usually the wrong thing, or they make it worse. They try to fix something, they only make it worse. And then they take your money, they don't do anything, they make promises, they break all their promises. So who the hell cares who's president? It doesn't matter. So, so let's turn to our problem here, which is misogyny. That's the problem. And then we're going to look at the solution. What's the solution? The solution is part of my plan. It's like this. From 1788 to 1920, women weren't allowed to vote. They could only vote in 1920, in that presidential election. So for 132 years, women weren't allowed to vote. So, you know, so we might be thinking of something here on the order of what I might call gender reparation. You know, in other words, we got to kind of make it up to these women for the 132 years that we kept them under our thumb. Let's try to make it up to them, okay? I mean, it's just the decent thing to do. So guys like me should take a pledge that we're going to just sit out one election cycle, just one election cycle, and let the girl win. Why not? That's the only way they're going to win, if people like me just, you know, say, okay, fine, we won't vote. And so I think, you know, you probably got 3 or 4 million men out there that would say, okay, fine, you know. Because the truth be told, I mean, I'm going to tell you something, I don't tell very many people, but before I voted for Trump, the last guy I voted for was Ronald Reagan. Because Jimmy Carter screwed things up so bad that I said anybody can come in and fix it, because he just made such a dog's breakfast out of it. I mean, I bought a car one time, it was 25% interest on a car. This how crazy it was. The 70s were really a bad decade, and Jimmy Carter just took it and made it a lot worse. And Reagan comes along and said, oh, yeah, you know, a shining light on a hill. And he's just, you know, affable and easygoing. And I said, he's got my vote. I didn't vote for a president after that until Trump came along, and I said, you know, he's going to drain the swamp. Why not? Well, it turns out he hasn't drained the swamp, so what do I care? You know, he's probably going to get elected again. I'll probably vote for him again, because I sure don't want to see crazy Bernie get it. So there we go. And after that, I'll probably never vote again for the rest of my life. But anyway, that's kind of a digression. But the one thing I'm not going to do is pull a lever for a Me Too woman. It's just not going to happen. It's just not the cowboy way. Not going to do it. So, so I'm willing to stay home But there's a catch. A catch. I'm not doing this out of the goodness of my heart necessarily. I want something in return. Give me something. So, in other words, bribe me. I want to be bribed. And you say bribery is illegal? Okay. But how do you explain Joe Biden coming out of nowhere? He was in the back of the pack a couple of months ago, and all of a sudden he's out in front. And there's Bernie Sanders. He won Michigan the last presidential cycle, going away, and now he lost it hugely. You can't tell me that many people in Michigan have changed their minds about Bernie Sanders and all of a sudden jumped on the Biden bandwagon. Especially when Biden, just a couple of days ago, he got into a big, huge argument with a Detroit construction worker, and he called this construction worker a horse's ass and told him he's full of shit. And yet Biden won Michigan. So there's some money going around there. I think there's some of Bloomberg's billions that are being spread around to get Bernie elected, or trying to. It's not going to happen, but they're trying to. So that's what I'm saying. Bribery, okay, fine, it's against the law, but everybody does it. And so what I'm saying is the way I read the law, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, leave your comments in the space below. But there's a law against bribing somebody to vote a certain way, this candidate, that candidate. But as far as I know, there's no law against somebody bribing me to stay home. Like I haven't seen that law. There may be, but I doubt it. So I'm willing to be bribed. But it is probably illegal, even if I did. It's probably illegal to accept money, and I don't want money. Don't give me money to stay home. I don't want money. I got plenty of money. I don't need anybody else's, $50 or $100. And I'm going to stay home for that. But I want a gift. Give me something nice. Give me something, I can use. And, a lot of guys, they might want a fishing reel. Let me give them a fishing reel. Guys might want a new pool cue. Some guys might want, I don't know, you name it. Something, a guy thing. Me, I'd be happy with a box of Arturo Fuente Opus X and a bottle of Bushmills. Give me that, and I'll stay home. I'll be happy to stay home. Like I said, let the girl win, and it'd be fine. I'd be happy with that. So that's my plan. I call it gender reparations. Just, guys will stay home and, for one election cycle, give it to the woman, let her win it. That way everybody's happy, the glass ceiling has been shattered, and then we can go on to bitching and kvetching about something else. But at least that problem will be solved. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that, and it's just kind of a fun little thing to think about. And isn't that a great idea, though, gender reparations? I think I might talk a little bit more about that, because I like that idea. Is it? Basically, what gender reparations does is it lets guys off the hook. That's just what it does. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.